Iran has made the world an offer. Expel America and Israel's ambassadors, and your oil moves freely. Keep them, and your tankers stay put. 20% of the world's crude oil, one narrow corridor, now a political weapon. Saudi Aramco uses a word it almost never used: catastrophic. The strait just became a toll road, and Iran owns the booth. The Strait of Hormuz has always been a pressure point, and Iran has now turned it into a bargaining chip. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps announced on March 10th that any Arab or European country expelling American and Israeli ambassadors from its territory would be granted full passage through the Strait of Hormuz. Every other vessel from every other nation remains at risk.
Any Arab or European country that expels the Israeli and American ambassadors from its territory will have complete freedom and authority to pass through the Strait of Hormuz starting tomorrow.
The IRGC went further, saying Iranian forces would not allow the export of a single litre of oil from the region to what it called the hostile side and its partners until further notice. Spokesman Ali Mohammed Naini said any change to that position would depend entirely on how the conflict develops. The stakes are considerable. Nearly 20% of the world's crude oil ordinarily moves through the strait, a narrow corridor between Iran and the Arabian Peninsula that connects the Persian Gulf to global markets. Since the war began on February 28th, when joint US-Israeli strikes on Tehran killed Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, Iranian forces have repeatedly targeted oil tankers in the waterway. Shipping has been severely disrupted, and oil prices climbed past $100 a barrel before easing after President Donald Trump suggested military operations would be ending soon. The warnings from Tehran come as the energy industry grows increasingly alarmed. Saudi Aramco cautioned on March 10th that a prolonged closure of the strait would carry catastrophic consequences for global oil supply, a word rarely used by an organization that typically calibrates its public statements with considerable care. Reports also indicate Iran is weighing a separate measure, a security tax on tankers and commercial vessels belonging to countries allied with the United States, effectively monetizing control of the waterway. According to reports citing an Iranian official, the country now holds significant influence over global energy prices, and that Washington would have to wait and watch Iran's next move. The strait has not been formally closed, but for much of the world's shipping industry, the distinction is already academic. With insurance companies refusing coverage and missiles striking vessels that attempt the crossing, the oil that usually flows freely through those waters is largely staying put. Iran's message to the world is straightforward. Passage through the strait now comes at a political price. So, how close is this war getting to open US-Iran confrontation? Tensions in the Middle East have escalated further after Iran said it launched missile strikes on a United States military base in Bahrain. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or IRGC, claimed it targeted the US naval facility in Jubail using both solid and liquid fuel missiles. According to Iranian officials, the attack was carried out in retaliation for a US strike on a desalination plant in Qeshm. Authorities in Bahrain confirmed that air raid sirens sounded across parts of the country after the reported launch. Bahrain's Ministry of Interior urged residents to remain calm and seek shelter while defense systems responded to the threat. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said the American strike had disrupted the water supply for about 30 villages on the island. Meanwhile, an Iranian military spokesperson has warned that any US ships entering the Gulf will end up at the bottom of the sea. It comes after Trump said earlier this week the US Navy would begin escorting tankers through the Strait of Hormuz as soon as possible. 1 week into one of the most volatile military confrontations the Middle East has seen in decades, Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian stepped in front of a camera and did something unexpected. He apologized. In a pre-recorded address aired on Iranian state television, Pezeshkian said,
I apologize to the neighboring countries that were attacked by Iran. We have no intention of invading other countries. This decision was made by the Leadership Council. The Interim Leadership Council agreed yesterday that no more attacks will be made on neighboring countries and no missiles will be fired unless an attack on Iran originates from those countries.
He didn't stop there. He went further, revealing that a temporary leadership council had issued a new directive, pulling back the military's open-ended authority to strike regional neighbors.
Our commanders, our leader, our dear ones, in reality, lost their lives because of the brutal invasion, and our armed forces, our heroes, who sacrificed their lives and put their lives in their hands to defend our territorial integrity. When the commanders were gone, they had freedom of fire and carried out all the necessary actions, defending our land with dignity and power.
So what changed? The president's explanation pointed to something remarkable, a breakdown in command. The strikes on Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE were, by his account, the result of miscommunication within Iranian military ranks. For a nation engaged in active combat, that admission carries enormous weight. But Pezeshkian wasn't done. He also sent a pointed warning to any regional actors considering using this moment against Iran, saying,
To groups in neighboring countries who may think of using this opportunity to attack our territory, I send this message. Do not become tools of imperialism. We may have disagreements, we may have grievances, but right now, supporting Israel, which is committing genocide, and the United States, which is bullying, their presence is forever a source of shame and disgrace. I don't know how to say it. Being pawns of colonialists is terrible for those who think they can achieve freedom and dignity.
Then came his response to Donald Trump. A day earlier, the US president had posted on Truth Social that there would be no deal with Iran except unconditional surrender, adding that after that, Washington and its allies would help rebuild Iran under new leadership. Pezeshkian dismissed the demand with a defiance that left little room for interpretation.
They will take that dream to the grave if they think we will surrender unconditionally.
Whatever the president said about restraint, Iran's military was not standing down. On Saturday morning, the Iranian Navy announced that its kamikaze drones carried out large-scale strikes on US military installations across the region. The targets included the Minhad district in Abu Dhabi, the Al Udairi camp in Kuwait, and radar facilities at the Stot Micha Air Base in Israeli-occupied territory. The Navy said the operation was direct retaliation for the sinking of the Iranian destroyer Dana by a US submarine in the Indian Ocean, and warned the campaign would continue. The IRGC followed with its own statement, claiming the strikes had destroyed an advanced early warning radar system at the Al Dhafra Air Base in the UAE, as well as hangars housing MQ-9 drones and facilities tied to US reconnaissance aircraft, including the high-altitude U-2 spy plane. In Kuwait, the IRGC claimed its cruise and ballistic missiles had hit the Ali Al Salem Air Base, damaging radar systems, fuel storage facilities, and 2 runways used by American aircraft. Explosions were reported at Dubai International Airport. Loud blasts were heard across Abu Dhabi. The region was, by any measure, burning. And then the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's IRGC announced it had struck a Malta-flagged oil and chemical tanker named Prima in the Gulf, saying,
The vessel had ignored repeated warnings from the IRGC Navy regarding the prohibition of traffic and the unsafe nature of the Strait of Hormuz.
According to the Tasnim news agency, the drone strike came just minutes after those warnings were ignored. The Strait of Hormuz is the single most critical choke point for global oil supply. Any sustained Iranian campaign to close or restrict it does not just threaten the region, it threatens every economy on the planet that runs on fuel. The USS Abraham Lincoln Strike Group had already been forced into retreat after IRGC drones targeted it in the Sea of Oman. A week after US and Israeli strikes killed Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei and top Iranian commanders, the war that many feared is no longer hypothetical. It is loud, it is spreading, and Saturday showed no signs that it is slowing down.